Hello YouTubers, my name is Attila Mate from Blue Sky Photography, and today I would like to talk to you about the best budget full frame camera setup. Now let's finish this series because I had two videos before, the best budget Micro Four Thirds setup and then the best budget APS-C size setup. So let's finish this and let's talk about the best budget full frame camera setup. Now, in my opinion, if you are a hobby photographer, you don't really want to get into full frame because it will be much more expensive and it will be much more heavier the gear, and it will be a little bit, I would say, much more painful when you have to put your hand in your pocket, you know. So if you are only a hobby photographer, you can stay with APS-C. This is my opinion. But if you want to get into full frame system, or if you have money and if you just want to get a full frame camera, I will give you some tips in this video and I will tell you, in my opinion, which is the best budget full frame setup. Now, first of all, let's speak about mirrorless, because everybody wants mirrorless these days, you know, like mirrorless, mirrorless, mirrorless. Okay, let's talk about mirrorless. Okay, so the first mirrorless, well, not the first and the last full frame mirrorless camera is the Sony. Oh, sorry, not I had to say this, sorry, apologies. So it's not Sony, it's Sony. The Sony A7, which is obviously the best priced full frame camera on the market. Sony A7. But don't get too hyped up. Because this is only the first part. The second part is much more painful, I guarantee you. So don't get too hyped, okay? So the Sony A7 is $800. Now, if you are a low light shooter, if you shoot a lot in low light, the Sony A7S is it's a little bit pricier, it's $2,000, but that is the best low light camera on the market. That's true, fair enough. Phony or Sony or whatever, you know, but that is the best low light camera on the market. Although it has a lot of disadvantages, and the first and the biggest one is it has only a single SD card slot, you know, that's the pain in the butt. But the Sony A7 as well has only a single SD card slot, so it's a phony camera. Because sorry. Okay, so Sony A7S, $2,000. Now, these two cameras, okay, in Sony side, you can go up if you have money, but we are talking about the best budget cameras. So that's why I would say the A7 or the A7S. Because there's the A7 Mark II, which is 1,000 whatever, but that's expensive. So DSLR side. Now, the DSLR side, like I said, the Sony A7, it was $800. That's a really good price for full frame camera. But DSLR side, Canon 6D, this is $1,200, or Nikon D750. Now, $1,500. Nikon is a little bit expensive. The Canon 6D is about 22 megapixels. The Nikon D750 is 24 megapixels. The Nikon D610 is again $1,500, and that is again 24 megapixel. But between the two Nikons, I would choose the Nikon D750, honestly. That's a legendary camera. It's not the sharpest camera, but it's good low light performance, fast autofocus. It's a great camera. Now, we have another camera over here, other than Nikon and Canon. And you might be surprised, but I would say that this camera is the best overall deal for your money. And that would be the Pentax K-1. Believe me or not. Now, let's not forget that this is not a fast autofocus camera. If you want, Pentax is not really famous about fast autofocus. So if you want to track something, forget about it. But if you are a sports photographer, you don't really want a full frame camera. You want then a Nikon D500, or you want something else, you know. You want Micro Four Thirds or whatever. If you are a sports photographer, or you want to track birds or whatever. So if you are a landscape photographer, or if you are a portrait photographer, or even a wedding photographer, You don't really need very fast autofocus. I guarantee you that this package is one of the best, and I will prove why. So, although I'm a Nikon user, this is the best value for money, I tell you. And it's weather sealed. First, it has in-body image stabilization, and this is hilarious, I tell you. The Sony cameras only have in-body image stabilization from the A7 Mark II, A7R Mark II, A7R, A7S Mark II. Before that, this A7, which is $800, it doesn't have. Nikon doesn't have, Canon doesn't have. Pentax has in-body image stabilization. It has a 36 megapixel, no anti-aliasing filter sensor. Now, you don't need 36 megapixel. It's big enough, I tell you. You will never need more than 36 megapixel. 36 megapixel full frame, you can blow up your images like a wall size, 3 meter by 2 meter, no problem. It's hilarious. And it has GPS and so on and so on and so on and so forth. So if you want to check specifications, I don't want to talk about 20 minutes about specifications because it's nonsense. But you can check it and you will see that I'm right. It is the best overall package. Now, let's see a little bit about lenses. Start again with phony Sony. Sony, sorry. Somebody told in the comments in one of my videos, and I laughed my head off. I tell you about this phony. I'm only messing, sorry about it. So you have to realize that if you go with Sony, the overall package will be more expensive and much more expensive than any other system. We are talking about full frame, don't forget. So it will be very, very, very expensive. And let's see why. So again, we need 3 lenses, let's say. So we are talking about the Trinity lenses, okay? Which is 15 to 35, 24 to 70, 70 to 200. With these lenses, you are covered for almost everything, except bird shooting, where you need like 500 millimeter or something like that. But other than that, even for sports photography, the 200 millimeter, it is kind of long enough. I use the 200 millimeter zoom lens on my son's rugby matches, and I tell you, especially if you do with a 36 megapixel Pentax camera, you can crop in. It's not a big issue at all. So that lens will be more than enough for you. Now, let's see a little bit on the Sony side. Sony 16 to 35 f2.8 G Master, $2,200. 24 to 70 f2.8 G Master, $2,200. 70 to 200 f2.8 G Master, $2,600. So, total cost of setup. Camera, $800 plus $7,000 lenses. So your setup, 1 camera and 3 lenses, will cost $7,800. And you have the Sony A7 camera. So if you want to have the A7R Mark II or the Mark III, then your total cost will be $10,000. You can buy a car with that. Okay, anyway, so let's see now Nikon and Canon. If we go to Nikon and Canon, I would suggest straight away the Tamron lenses, the Tamron Trinity lenses, because, and many people will say, yeah, that's not fair because the Sony, yeah, blah, 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 and the Tamron is Tamron and Sony, and so why don't you compare with Nikon lenses and Canon lenses? I tell you why. Because Tamron 70 to 200, 24 to 70 generation 2 is better than the Nikon and Canon versions. Better image quality. Okay, it's not better in build quality. Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe. But who cares? It's half price. So I would suggest the Tamron versions. And you can look at 10,000 videos on YouTube and you will see they all recommend this. So Tamron 15 to 30 f2.8 USD, $1,200. Tamron 24 to 70 f2.8 USD generation 2, $1,200. Tamron 70 to 200 f2.8 USD generation 2, $1,300. total cost of setup. If you buy a Nikon camera, the D750, which I recommended, it is $1,500 plus $3,700 lenses. It is total $5,200. So you saved $2,600. And you have a camera which is much faster in autofocus. That is definitely true. You don't even mention the two cameras, the E7 and the Nikon D750 on the same page. You don't. You have dual SD card slots, you have full magnesium alloy body, and so on and so on. You have all lenses weather sealed and so on and so on. So it's a big difference. And you saved $2,600. So Canon version. Canon camera 6D is $1,200 plus $3,700 lenses, $4,900. You saved $2,900. And again, the Canon 6D, it is a better camera than the Sony A7. Okay, now let's see Pentax lenses. And here with Pentax, I'm talking about Pentax's own lenses, because those lenses are actually Tamron rebranded lenses, I would say. Even the form factor is the same, so I would say it is Tamron rebranded lenses. But anyway, they are great lenses. So Pentax lenses, 15 to 30 f2.8, $1,300. 24 to 70 f2.8, $1,000. 70 to 200 f2.8, $1,500. Total Pentax K-1 camera is $1,900 plus 3,800 lenses, $5,700. You saved $2,100 when we compare with Sony. So with this saved money, $2,100, you can buy a 150 to 450 f4.5 to 5.6 telephoto Pentax zoom lens, which is a great lens for birds, for wildlife, if you are in that kind of photography. Or you can buy a Pentax 100mm f2.8 macro for $450, a Sigma 35mm f1.4 art lens for $800, and a Pentax 50mm f1.4 for $270. And still, total $1,550, and you still saved a good few $100, like $600 or whatever you saved over here. And you have another 3 lenses, and you still saved $600. So it's definitely up to you guys. If you want to buy a Sony, or if you want to buy Nikon or Canon or Pentax, I just tell you, I owned Sony full frame cameras, I owned Nikon full frame cameras, I didn't own the Pentax K-1, but I did have in my hand several times, and I guarantee you that that camera is an excellent landscape camera, an excellent portrait camera. Now if you want, or wedding camera, if you want fast autofocus like I mentioned, don't get near Pentax. They are not fast in autofocus. But if you are a landscape photographer, portrait photographer, it is one of the best. And with this price range, okay, it sounds a little bit expensive because it's 5,000 something, 800 or whatever. But if you calculate with other systems, you will see that it is the best value for your money, and what you get is much more. So I hope that this video was helpful to you guys. If you have any other idea and you want to add something to this video, if you think that I forgot something, or if you know a better lens, or if you know a different version for Sony and I didn't know about it or something, which I don't think so, but if you know something, please leave a comment down below and let's discuss it in a professional manner. And I would like to help other people to decide, because maybe they don't have the knowledge, and maybe they will be fooled by some marketing strategy, you know, and they will jump into a system which one they will regret after that. So if you want to add something, feel free and leave a comment down below. I hope that you like this video. If you like it, please like and subscribe, and hit the little bell button near the subscribe button to get notified when I upload another video. And other than that, I wish you a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.